I'm pleased to sponsor the alternative interview.
And so you spent that time with Stevenage, and by the January 2011, you're on your way back to Aldershot.
Yeah, absolutely. And Stevenage, like I say, was an absolute roller coaster. It started really well. Graham Wesley was bizarre. I don't think there's any other way I can really explain it without becoming abusive. Just a strange person. I mean, the stories that I could tell. I mean, I have actually. I wrote a couple of years ago. I wrote my memoirs from my football career because I just thought it'd be interesting for me to do it. And you see all these memoirs of professional footballers in the Premier League and stuff. I thought, why not do one from a non-league football perspective? And the Stevenage one was a particularly colourful chapter in terms of some of the stories that went on. And again, Graham Wesley didn't particularly like me as a person. I didn't particularly like him as a person, and we clashed because of it. And so it got to the new season when we got up. So we got promotion. He left me out of the squad for the trophy final that year as well. And they lost. I don't know if managers are seeing a common thread here. But yeah, he ended up losing the trophy final. Then we came back into the Football League. I think I only made one start in the Football League for him that season. And he said that only came about in the team talk. He told everyone that only came about because he flipped a coin and it happened to land on me. So that was always nice to be given that sort of reassurance. And yeah, so I just kind of really wanted out. I really wanted to get out of Stevenage. And he had told me that no one ever leaves the club unless he really wants them to leave. So he said it wasn't my decision if I was going to leave, basically. But I managed to get to Russian and Diamonds on a 3-month loan, which was great. It was a great club. I love Russian and Diamonds as a club. Loved going to play there. Didn't quite work out there either. And then it came to January and I was keen to leave. In the end, Graham Wesley had seen that there was absolutely no point in me staying. And I actually was sat in a car park about to go and pick up my little girl from school. And Dean Holdsworth had just got the job at Aldershot. And I'd had Dean Holdsworth's number from when he was Newport County manager, and he was interested in signing me. I think that was when I went to Torquay, actually. He was interested in signing me a couple of years before. So I thought, sod it, if you don't ask, you don't get. So I sent him a text just saying, congratulations on the Aldershot job, great club. If you need an experienced target man who knows the club, then let me know. And to my surprise, about a minute later, because it was the day he got the job, so I thought he won't respond. He'll be dealing with everything else. But about a minute later, he sent me a text back saying, I'll give you a call in a minute. And that was it. He gave me a call, wanted me to come in, and I was sold. I took a big pay cut from what I was on at Stevenage. But I couldn't turn down the opportunity to come back to Aldershot in the Football League. And that was it. After that, I was back there and travelling down with Peter Vincenti and Ben Hurd and in a little car school. And yeah, it was just great to be back.
And I can remember you scored 2 at Chesterfield in a 2-2 draw up there. And there were and how did it feel like coming back? And you're coming towards the latter end of your career, I suppose, as such. But you've got the opportunity to go back to a club that you had such a great affinity for, and wanted to make an impression as well. How did it feel at that time?
Oh yeah, I mean, it was just pure excitement from my point of view. Again, like I said, there are times where you fall out of love with football at times. When it gets a bit more serious and you go up the ladder and it's not quite going well, you can fall out of love with it. So it was just a chance for me again to kind of reconnect with something that I'd really truly loved in my career, especially in Football League. Like I was desperate to score a goal in the Football League for Aldershot. I was disappointed I hadn't ever managed to do it in my first spell, having come so close to getting us there. So I think turning up, first game was Bradford at home, came off the bench, got rapturous reception from the crowd. And it was just, I just felt like I was home again as much as I was, living a bit further away. It was just great to be back. And I think Chesterfield was my first start. I remember Dean, kind of telling me that I'd be starting against Chesterfield. And I thought, well, thanks for that. Great that you're giving me my first start against, I think they were probably league leaders at the time. They were certainly up there. Away at, a really good team, thinking, right, okay, pressure's on now, I've got to perform. Managed to score a couple, and that was the best feeling, you know, scoring a goal, the first goal, scoring it for Aldershot in the Football League was just magnificent. We should have won that game, actually. We were brilliant that day. You know, after that, it kind of didn't quite happen as I'd have liked it to, but it was still, I just enjoyed every minute of just being back. And it just, again, gave me that little lift for the last few years of my career just to get really back into it and start enjoying it again.
And I look at some of the players that were in that squad at that time. You talk about Peter there, Peter Vincenti, Danny Hilton, Alex Rodman, Jermaine McGlashan. They all went on to have pretty decent Football League careers, didn't they, for a fair few years? Yeah,
and I mean, Danny Hilton was one that was obviously a really young lad when I was there the first time. And, you know, just one of those where I think it's harsh to say I'm surprised at how well he's done in his career, just with the player he was, but he has done brilliantly with what he's had, you know, and he is all down to hard work. Danny Hilton was a pest, absolute pest to play against. And then he obviously just brought that quality into his game as well, of, you know, being able to hold the ball up and score goals and things like that as well. And fully deserved, you know, he's worked so hard for the success he's had, and he's done really well with his career. Same with that, you know, Alex Rodman, frustrating player at times, could go disappearing, could be a match winner, but again, done really well as to develop and go on and have a really good career, as has Jermaine as well. So yeah, there were some really, really good players in that squad again. And I love Ben Hurd. Ben Hurd for me was, you know, a typical kind of player who I'd love to play with in my first spell. You know, all blood and thunder, good quality, but you'd want to go to war with him. And, you know, that was something at times in my career, you playing with players who that's not so much the case. But yeah, again, just like I say, it was just great to be back and be part of it.
You talk about Ben there. We've done a piece with Ben a while back, and he's doing extremely now well, running his own academy. He's tying and managing Hertford Town. And are there players that you play with over the years that you just know have got the capabilities to push into the coaching stroke management career? Or are there some that maybe have surprised you over the years of going down that route?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one. I mean, people like Darren Barnard's obviously given it a little bit of a go, more involved with youth football, but he's definitely one that I would have said, you know, can make a great manager. Ray Warburton could have done if he wanted to, although he was quite quiet. He'd just command respect. And there are a few who I'm surprised haven't gone into it. You know, even your people like Steve Watson and people like that, that were such big characters and could have gone on and been really good coaches and managers as well. But in terms of who's actually gone on and really done it and done it really well, you know, I don't think there's been too many that I can think of. I mean, Chris Hargreaves obviously gave it a go at Torquay, but didn't quite work out for him. Same with Kevin Nicholson. Again, two great characters who are passionate about the game and will always be involved in the game, which is great. But yeah, so I don't think anyone's gone on to have amazing managerial careers, but I played with enough players, I think, in my career that could have gone on and done really well with it.
And so at the end of that season at Aldershot, was there an opportunity to stay for another season, or was it sort of that was it? That was the end of?
No, I think that was it. I think you know, it come to a natural conclusion. You know, I was thankful for the opportunity, and then it was a case of just trying to find a new club. So it was a really weird time at football at that time, because there weren't many clubs in the conference who had a lot of money. So there was, you know, I spoke to Luton at the time, and they were interested to a certain extent, but you know, didn't really cough up in the end in terms of, you know, proper offer. And it was actually the National League South, so the Conference South, where more of the money was, especially as a part-time and then being able to get a job. And at that point, I did kind of think I need to start thinking about life after football as I had before football. You know, I was already got my degree and things and got a couple of years work experience. So yeah, so in the end, I kind of realised that my time with professional football had probably just about come to an end, and it was now time to look back at part-time football, but then look at building a career up outside of football as well.